This is JC Rock and Metal Reviews. I'm here with my guest, Dragonfire, with another album ranking. And today we're talking about Motley Crue. We're doing the 9 studio albums by Motley Crue. And as a bonus, we threw in a Vince Neil solo album called Exposed, just to make it an even 10. We do this worst to best. If you've seen our other rankings, you know how it's done, and we go with our number 10 and our number 9 and so on. So I'm gonna let Dragonfire go first. If you want, you can talk a little bit about how you discovered Motley Crue and how long you've been listening to them, and go right into your number 10.
All
Uh,
right, yeah. Thanks for having me on again. This has been an
no
awesome
problem. Yeah.
series. My number 10, or well, I've been listening to Motley Crue forever. And not sure exactly which is the first music video I saw, but I'm sure I saw them on music video on MTV back in the day. My older siblings were into Motley Crue probably before I was born. But yeah, I love Motley Crue, one of my favorite bands of all time. And my number 10 is going to be the 1994 self titled album. This one doesn't really stand out to me. You can definitely tell that they're trying to move in the direction of grunge, even though grunge is kind of passe by 94. You can tell they've been influenced by the albums that come out in the past few years. I kind of like Hooligan's Holiday. Might be the best song on the album for me, but it doesn't do much for me.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Sounds good. All right. So my number 10 is going to be Generation Swine. This is the one where Vince Neil came back after the Karabi album, which I'll talk about like a little later. I have it ranked a little, I mean, fairly low. So, yeah, I think this one, the problem with this is that, I mean, it was good that the band is back together. And I know Tommy Lee would end up like leaving for the next album. So this is like I think it's like, at the time, it was like the last album with like the original lineup, and then they did some other stuff. But I think the problem with this one is that they went into this alternative industrial direction, and I think that that's why it's not as good. But there are a few tracks that I kind of like. I think the single "Afraid" is okay, and "Generation Swine," the title track, is okay. That the remake of "Shout at the Devil" was kind of not necessary. So I mean, that was they probably didn't need to do that. That track "Brandon," written by Tommy Lee about his son, it's I understand it's heartfelt and all that, but it just kind of like seems like an extra track. But otherwise, a few songs I like, but otherwise I don't like it that much. So that's my number 10. Yeah.
For my number 9, I'm gonna go with Generation Swine, which was your number 10. Yeah, this album is rough. The
Yeah.
only reason I ranked it as my number 9 instead of my number 10 is because I actually like the song "Afraid." Definitely my
Yeah.
favorite song on the album. I like it a lot. But man, Brandon is kind of terrible. Glitter is kind of terrible. And yeah, this is a rough album. Comes in at my number 9. Don't have much else to say about it. I'm more of a positive person, so when something's negative, I'm kind of like, it's fine, but I don't care for it.
Yeah. All right, that's fair.
Eh.
All right, so my number 9 is going to be New Tattoo. So this one came out in the year 2000, and this one doesn't have Tommy Lee. I know at this Tommy Lee like recorded. He had like his own like solo band called Methods of Mayhem, which is like a rap metal album. That's actually pretty bad in itself. But I think this one, it's as far as the sound, like they have that classic sound because it's just that I mean it sounds like Motley Crue after like 2 albums that like didn't sound like Motley Crue. So in that respect, I like it, but I think it's just the songs aren't just as strong as the other albums that I'm going to be talking about. I know this band they like to write songs that are like with like raunchy lyrics, and that's just who they are. But I think they kind of went like a little like too far on this one. I mean, they're just some of the lyrics were like a little over the top, I thought. But as far as songs, I mean, I think they're okay. Hell on High Heels is okay. The the title track New Tattoo is okay, but some songs are pretty bad, like First Band on the Moon, and I think those lyrics is just ridiculous. Another track. There's a cover song of the Tubes, and I think they're like a punk band, right? Or maybe like a rock band. But I mean that one was okay. But otherwise, I don't know, I don't like this album. I think like I know it has the sound, but there's gonna be like another album they do like a little later on. Their like album that came after that, which is going to be better, which I'll talk about like a little later. But anyway, that's my number nine, New Tattoo. Yeah.
Okay, New Tattoo is my number 8. So, yeah, New Tattoo, again, it doesn't have some of the really low parts like Generation Swine does for me, but it's just kind of there. Hell on High Heels might be my favorite song from it, and yeah, she needs rock and roll is probably up there too. But yeah, there's not much to it. Like First Band on the Moon, a bad version of a Spinal Tap song. Yeah, so is White Punks on Dope, to be honest. But it's it's all right. It could be background music. So yeah, that's my number what 7? Yeah, 7.
Yeah. All right, cool. All right, so go to my number seven is going to be the self-titled the John Corabi album, and I kind of like this only because I'm a fan. I like grunge music, and I thought it kind of sounded like more like they're doing like Soundgarden, like that type of sound. And I think John Corabi is a good vocalist, but I mean, it doesn't really sound like Motley Crue. So I think for that reason, it's a little lower. But I think it has some pretty. There's some songs I like. I like Hooligan's Holiday. I like Misunderstood. But I think it kind of overstays its welcome a little bit as well. It's kind of like a long album. I think this is like it's like 60 minutes. And I don't know, most Motley Crue albums are like 40, 45 minutes. So I think this one kind of overstays its welcome a little bit. But otherwise, I think it's okay if you can just get past the fact that they were going for a grunge sound. But they do have some songs that are okay, like the power ballad "Misunderstood." That one's pretty good as well. But anyway, this one's okay. So that's my number eight is the self-titled. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
My wait, I think that you're number 7, not 8, right? Um,
Wait, was that eight or no? Because
uh,
I did Generation Swine, New Tattoo, and then the self-titled.
so that would have been number 8. Okay.
That's my eight.
Okay, so
So
I
you're
must
on
have
your
lost
seven.
there. I'm on my 7. Okay, so I did the self-titled, then New Tattoo, then Generation Swine. Okay, so my number 7 is going to be Saints of Los Angeles. Um,
Okay.
uh, I love the title track. Saints of Los Angeles itself is is a really good song in my opinion. And and all of this album, it's not too bad. Um, but uh, but yeah, um, not my not my favorite, but I also don't hate it. Um, Down at the Whiskey, kind of sounds like they're longing for the good old days. But yeah, this is fun, and um, I kind of like it, but still my number seven. So I don't have much to say about it, but it's interesting.
Okay, good. Yeah, I have seen number seven as you. I think this is one of the best ones that's like from their later days. I think they're bringing back their old sound, so it kind of sounds something like they kind of would have released in the '80s. Maybe it had like a little more of a modern production, but otherwise, I think it's just they're recapturing what they were doing. I think that, I mean, some of the song titles are a little over the top, but I like I like the title track, Saints of Los Angeles. I think it's a good song. Like you said, Down at the Whiskey. That was another good song. And I think it just sounds like a typical just Motley Crue album. And I think it just has a good sound. I mean, I it's an enjoyable album. I don't think like there are any like really bad songs. I think just some of like the titles and lyrics are a little over the top, but other than that, that's what these guys are known for anyway. But I like it. So yeah, that's my number seven. Yeah.
Okay, for my
What
number
you
six.
yeah.
All right, my number six is going to be the Vince Neil solo album, and um, I like this one. I like it a lot. Um, yeah, you're invited, but your friend can't come. I really enjoyed that one. Um, yeah, uh, look in her eyes is nice. I like the whole album. It um it does kind of sound to me like Vince Neil probably asked his band, or maybe just because they were backing up for Vince Neil, they decided they should try to sound like Motley Crue. And yeah, if you told me this was a Motley Crue tribute band, I'd believe you. um, but yeah, you know, um, they did the 81 to 91 Decade of Decadence album.
Yeah.
That took some of the greatest hits from the first 5 albums, but they also had some bonus tracks on that one with, Primal Scream,
Yeah, I like the
and
song. Yeah.
yeah, Primal Scream is a great song, and I feel like Vince Neil, um, maybe he just, knew what direction to go, or maybe it's because I love '80s Motley Crue so much that it feels like Vince Neil wanted to keep doing more stuff that was in line with '80s Motley Crue, but the rest of the band went more. They were trying to, at least to me, it feels like they were trying to get in with the '90s and be more '90s. But and I I'm just a bigger fan of their '80s stuff. So um yeah, but that's my number six for sure. Is that Vince Neil's solo album.
All right. Cool. Sounds good. So yeah, well, going into the top six, I mean these are going to be like the classic albums, obviously. So my number six is going to be "Girls, Girls, Girls" from 1987. I I'll listen to this one again. I think I actually liked it a little more than I did when I bought it, like years ago. I think like back then I didn't like it as much, but I think it's actually pretty good because it has a really great start. Like with Wild Side, Girls, 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 and Dancing on Glass. Those are like three classics. And then Bad Boy Boogie, that's just another good song. And then track number five, Nona. It's a short song. It's only about a minute and a half, but I like it because it kind of sounds like the Beatles. And then 5 Years Dead. That's another really good song. And just like the rest of the album, all the name of something for nothing. You're all I need is the ballad. So it's a decent song. So I think it's a pretty strong album. I just like the other one better, but and the Jailhouse Rock cover, not too bad. That's kind of like a bonus track, I guess, with the live cover. But anyway, that is my My number, what number am I on? My number six. Yeah.
Okay. My number 5 is Theater of Pain, and I love 80s Motley Crue. Um, this is awesome. The big hit song on this one, well, there were two, I guess, "Smoking in the Boys' Room" and "Home Sweet Home." Um, love both of those songs, but I also love the rest of this album. Um, there aren't necessarily any of the deeper cuts that stand out, but I can just put this album on and rock out to it. Um, and the whole album rocks for me. Um, I I love the way this album rocks. I love all of 80s Motley Crue, and yeah, um, "Home Sweet Home" is a standard for all power ballads to try to live up to. But yeah,
Yeah.
I love Theater of Pain for sure. My number 5.
All right, cool. Yeah, we actually have a match here. Yeah, I also have Theater of Pain's my number five. And yeah, I like it. It has the two singles, "Smoke in the Boys Room," "Home Sweet Home," good songs. But I think it's like some of the deeper cuts on track two are actually pretty good because "Use It or Lose It," "Save Our Souls." I think like they actually get a little heavier on those tracks, and then "Raise Your Hands to Rock." That's a good song. So I think it's a pretty good album, and I think like some of the songs on side two actually kind of like make up for it. And there's some good deep cuts, but also has the more well-known songs on side one, which are "City Boy Blues," "Smoke in the Boys Room," "Home Sweet Home." And so I think it's a good album. Um, Again, I think I like it. Like I remember back in the '80s, I didn't like it as much. I think so. Once I get to my like top albums, you know I like them more. But I thought it was actually I think this one has grown on me a little over a year, so I appreciate it a little more now. So again, that's my number five. Yeah.
All right. My number 4 is gonna be "Girls, Girls, Girls."
Okay.
Um, yeah, "Girls, Girls, Girls." I love "Bad Boy Boogie." That's a fantastic song. Um, "Wild Side" is good. The title track, "Girls, Girls, Girls," is awesome. 5 Years Dead, I do like the song, but one thing I found interesting about it is I think it's basically the same song as "Girls, Girls, Girls," just with different lyrics. Like, the music
Oh,
is
okay.
almost identical. Um,
Yeah, I never noticed that, but I'll have to listen to them together. Yes, for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
but, um but I love "Girls, Girls, Girls," and I like "5 Years Dead." I just think that out of the 2, if I had to choose one, "Girls, Girls, Girls" is the better song. But yeah, they're almost identical musical-wise, they just put different lyrics to it. Um, I like their cover of "Jailhouse Rock," it's pretty fun, and it's a live track on the studio album, and the audience
Yeah.
participation is fun. "Smuttin' for Nothing." Yeah, this whole album rocks, and I love it. Um, but what was it? Oh, "You're All I Need." I was listening to this one, and for the first time ever, I think I really paid super close attention to the lyrics this week when I was listening to it, and I was like, "Wait a minute, these lyrics, what is this?" So I looked them up. I looked up the lyrics, and I'm like, because I started to notice them, I'm like, "Wait, is this a song about a guy who murders his girlfriend?" And it
It is.
is. Yeah, it's a song.
I never like noticed. I never know,
Yeah.
never like
I
listened to that deeply. Yeah.
yeah, I never noticed it until this week, because I started to listen, I'm like, "Wait, what is he singing about?" And then I was like, "It's a song about a guy who murders his girlfriend." So, like, I'm actually adding it to a list. One year for Halloween on my channel, I did I did I think the title of the video was songs that kill, and then in parentheses it said literally.
Yeah,
So I did a whole bunch of murder songs. I did a whole episode on murder songs. Um, but yeah, I should add this one to my list of murder songs.
yeah,
um,
definitely.
it's fun. Um, but I look at it the same way as watching horror movies because you uh you don't take it literally, right? Enjoy like Freddy Krueger or Jason Voorhees or whatever, but it's
Well, yeah,
not
yeah. I
literal.
mean, there are a lot
Yeah,
of songs
yeah,
that are
yeah,
about that. I mean,
yeah, yeah.
even like Avenged Sevenfold did that something little. They did a song about that or something about heaven or something. But yeah,
All right. Yeah, but I love this album for real though. 80s Motley Crue to me, if anybody said, "Are you in the mood for 80s Motley Crue?" Any of the albums that came out in the 80s, I am always in the mood for 80s Motley Crue. Go ahead and put that on. So anyway, that's my number 4.
okay, nice. All right. My number four is going to be Doctor Feelgood. So this one is an important album for me. I think this was the first one I bought as a new album. I actually remember watching the world premiere music video for the title track "Doctor Feelgood" on MTV's Headbangers Ball because I used to watch that every Saturday night back in 1989. This is when I was, I guess, like 18 years old, and I had been listening to like metal music for maybe like the past like year or so. So I like this one a lot. I remember this was actually like the first one that I bought. I think I bought this one first, and then I went and I bought all the ones before it, which were the Girls, Theater of Pain, and the first two. But great songs. This one kind of reminds me of like almost like Motley Crue doing like a Guns N' Roses type of sound. I hear that influence, and this is also produced by Bob Rock, so it kind of has that production. Bob Rock would later do the Metallica's Black Album, all that. So this one has the title track I like, "Kickstart My Heart." That's a classic. That's one of my favorite Motley Crue songs. And the ballads are pretty good. "Without You" and "Don't Go Away, Man, Just Go Away." "Seamless Situation" pretty good. And I think it's just a solid album, start to finish. I think like all like my top four albums are going to be all solid. So that's my number four. It's going to be Dr. Feelgood. Yeah.
All right. My number 3 is going to be Shout at the Devil. And again, I love this album. Looks That Kill.
Yeah.
I is probably one of the first, maybe even the first Motley Crue song I ever heard.
Yeah.
Um, uh, Helter Skelter is a fun Beatles cover. When you talk about proto metal and songs that um, set the stage in the 1960s for what would become heavy metal in the 70s, I think Helter
Yeah.
Skelter by the Beatles is up there as a song that set the stage for heavy metal. Um, Too Fast or Too Young to Fall in Love. Um, love it. Um, 10 Seconds to Love is awesome. Yeah, this is a fantastic album. That's why I gave it my bronze medal. So shout out The Devil by Motley Crue.
All right. Nice. Okay. My number three is going to be surprisingly high, but I'm putting Vince Neil Exposed. And I I found this album one day. I went to this old department store, which doesn't exist anymore. But there, and I was looking in the bargain bin, and they had all these cassettes. And I remember I bought this one, Been Still Exposed, and I bought Saigon Kick's Water, which is another band that I like. If you ever want to talk about them, Saigon Kick. But anyway, I
Yeah.
remember I bought the cassette, and I used to like listen to. I had this like cassette Walkman, and I would use it because I travel. I traveled a lot on the subway in New York City back then a lot. So this is when I was young. I think I was It came out in '93, so I must have bought it around that same time, maybe a year later in '94. But I was so I bought this one later. But I think it's just like a really good album. I mean, they have like a really good lineup. First of all, it's Vince Neil, Steve Stevens. I mean, he's the classic. He's the guy. I mean, he's like Billy Idol's guitarist. And then some other guys like Vicky Fox from Enough Enough, and Dave Marshall. He's been in many different bands, and Robbie Crane. Uh, he's someone who I don't know very well, but he was actually supposedly he was with Ben Rat. So I think it's just a really, I think it's like the natural success. Like you talked about this before when you mentioned it. It's like the natural successor to Dr. Feelgood, because I think the band actually like maybe they broke up after that, or Vince Neil left, or he got fired. I forgot the whole story, but I think it's like the natural successor um to Dr. Feelgood, which is why I think it's just I just like all the songs. I especially like You're Invited but Your Friend Can't Come, Sister Pain. That's a really good song. And that one has Jack Blades and Tommy Shaw. They're also very well known musicians. Everything else like Can't Change Me. That's a ballad. There's a cover, Set Me Free. Again, like I listen to this one a lot. I think that's why I have it ranked like very high. And I just think it's a great album. And if you're a Motley Crue fan and you've never heard this, I think it's definitely worth listening. I know he did another solo album. I don't think I've ever listened to a Carved in Stone. I don't know if it's good or not, but this one I like it a lot. It just brings back lots of memories. But I just found it in a bargain bin one day. That's just really great album.
Yeah,
Yes, that's my number three. Yeah.
yeah, even though I own that album, this was my first time really sitting down and listening to it, and I was pleasantly surprised at how much I
Yeah.
enjoyed it. Um, and I didn't look up who his backup band was, but you mentioned all those names, and that really
Yes.
makes a lot of sense. So it's definitely an album I'm going to be listening more to in the future.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. It's definitely one I recommend for everyone. Yeah,
and out of the four original members, I think he was really the first to do a solo album, as far as I know.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. My number two, my silver medal, is going to Too Fast for Love. Originally came out in 1981, but on um, Motley Crue's own label, right? They created Leather Records, but then it
Yeah.
was then they got a record deal with Elektra, and it was re-released in '82 on Elektra Records.
Yeah.
Um, it was slightly remixed and then re-released. But I love this album. Some people refer to it as the first ever hair metal album. I would go with Van Halen, but um, yeah, I love Live Wire. Merry Go Round is awesome. Um, Piece of Your Action is fantastic. Too Fast for Love, On with the Show. Yeah, Public Enemy number one. This whole album is fantastic, honestly. Um, and yesterday was a record store day. I don't know if
Yeah.
um how many do they do a year for record store day? Is it like once every 3 months? Is it 6 months? I know it's more than once a year, but
No, I think
um
that I don't know. It's probably about three or four a year.
okay. I went to one of my local record stores and I found this.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the first Motley Crue I have on cassette. I just got this yesterday, so
That's
um
cool. Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, I love this thing. This is awesome. But yeah, this is a fantastic album. I'm giving it my silver medal. Honestly, um, I'm kind of nitpicking because I love '80s Motley Crue so much that any album could have been my number one almost. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Too Fast for Love as my silver medal.
Okay, cool. Um, all right, so my number two is the same thing, Too Fast for Love. Again, yeah, I had this one, like I said before, like I bought Dr. Feelgood and then I bought all the other ones. Actually, I had this one on cassette. I don't even think I ever owned it on CD, but I remember I had it on cassette. I like it. I think it's just a great album. I think it's just like all like the songs are good. Like the production is like a little more raw, but I think it doesn't like hurt the album. Live Wire is great. It's a little heavier also. So I like that. The Merry Go Round, that's a cool song. I like that Piece of Your Action. That's like a classic Motley Crue type of song. Stick to Your Guns and great. Come Out and Dance. It's just a very catchy song. Yeah, Too Fast for Love, the title track, and On with the Show. They're just like all good tracks. Again, I mean, this is like their first album, and they just like released like a really good debut album. Like I don't know anyone who like doesn't like this album. I think like every like Motley Crue ranking I've ever watched, like this one always like ranks like very high for them. And I think it's just like a really good. It's just a good album, and that's really all I have to say about it. It's just like a really good, classic like I said, early hair metal album. So that's it. That's my number two. Yeah.
All right. My number one is going to be Dr. Feelgood. Gets my gold medal. Um, I remember uh, same old situation, the music video for that one. And
Yeah.
that one made a huge impact on me. I loved it. One of my favorite songs of all time. But there's a number on this. Time for Change is fantastic. Don't Go Away Mad, Just Go Away. Um, Kickstart My Heart, Rattlesnake Shake, um, Slice of Your Pie. I probably, if I could make one change to this album, I probably would just change a little bit the order that the songs play in.
Yeah.
Um, and they probably could change up the order and it might flow a little bit better. But other than that, this is more or less a perfect album. Um, and yeah, I love this thing. The title track, Dr. Feelgood is fantastic. But I love this entire album. Um, yeah, but that same old situation. I don't know why, but like in that music video, when you hear like or you see the audience like singing along, it made me want to go to a Motley Crue concert so bad. I've still never been to a Motley Crue concert, so that might be a bucket list item for me to actually go to a Motley Crue concert. I've
Yeah.
actually only in the past few years I've beginning going to concerts and I've seen a lot of bands that I like, but Motley Crue is one I would love to see for sure. But yeah, this is my gold medal. My number one for Motley Crue is Dr. Feelgood from 1989, their fifth album. So yeah.
Yeah. All right, nice. So that leaves me with my number one, Shout the Devil. Now, this one, I think it's probably, I would consider this to be more of like a heavy metal album. It's not really as much of a glam metal. I mean, it still has glam, but it's like a heavier glam. And I like it a lot. And I think I like the fact that they do some like different stuff because they start with like a short like intro, like instrumental, which they don't always do. Going into Shout the Devil, Looks That Kill, just two great songs. Bastard, another great song. Then another instrumental, which is pretty cool. It's just like another minute and a half. And then the Beatles cover Helter Skelter, which is like you said, like it's a lot of people say it's possibly like the first heavy metal song, but again, that's debatable. Side two, still great. Red Hot, Too Young to Fall in Love. That's maybe like my favorite on the track. Knock 'em Dead Kid. That's one of my favorite, like deeper cuts. 10 Seconds of Love, another great one. Danger. That one's okay. I think if I have to like name a song that I like slightly less, but it's still a good song. I think it's just a solid album, and it's just a great album. Like it's just like 11 tracks. It's 35 minutes long. It's just a great album to listen to front to back, and it's a classic heavy metal album. So I want to wrap this up quickly because Zoom is giving me the 1 minute warning. So
Okay.
thanks for everybody who's here. We do this pretty much like every weekend. And subscribe to Dragonfire. I will link his channel to this, and we'll probably collaborate and all that. So subscribe to me, subscribe to Dragonfire. Thanks for watching, and see you all